and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be talking about great books that are worth their hype. Now, hyped books are kind of a big discussion point on the booktube community because every once in a while there will be a book that comes out or has been out for a while and people will just talk about it and read it, and after maybe a month or so, everyone on the booktube community has read it. And there's always a discussion, is the book worth the hype or not? Now, this is especially an issue for me because I always find that most books that are overhyped, I feel like I don't like. If people talk about a book long enough, I'll read it, but most of the time I don't like it. But sometimes that is not the case. And today I'm going to be talking about the books that are talked about that I actually did enjoy and that I would recommend. And I apologize for my bad lighting. It's actually sunny here today. The first book I'm going to be talking about is not really a book, it's more of just an author, is books by Sarah Desson. This one is Just Listen. I feel like a ton of people talk about Sarah Desson. I mean, I'm sure most booktubers have read at least one book by her, and there's a lot of not really controversy, but a lot of people do not like her books or do not believe that they're worth the hype. I think that they are. I like contemporary. It's just not my favorite genre, but I feel like if I'm reaching for a contemporary, I definitely suggest reaching for one of hers. It's not just the typical fluffy romance book. Most of her books have real substance and they teach lessons, and the stories in the books themselves are very important, and that's why I think that Sarah Desson books are definitely worth the hype. She's one of my favorite authors, period, and definitely the best contemporary author in my opinion. The next book is going to be another contemporary, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This is a booktube favorite. I think on Goodreads over half of my friends have at least read this or added this book to their TBR. Now, everyone loves this book, and for good reason. It's not like a Sarah Desson book where there's a lot of deeper issues behind it, but I feel like it's just a fun book. It's about, in case you guys don't know, it's about a girl named Anna who gets sent to boarding school in Paris and meets a guy there, of course. And I feel like it's not just your typical romance, but it is in a way. I don't know. It's just a fun book. And if you just need something, take your mind off things, or if you've been reading a lot of heavier books lately, I definitely recommend it. It's so good and it's so cute. The next three books I'm going to talk about actually all have movie adaptations coming out soon, so if you guys want to read the books before the movie. The first is the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. Now, this book is being turned into a movie, and the movie is being released next Valentine's Day. Now, when I first joined BookTube, it took me a while to read the series, and I think I was kind of hesitant because, of course, vampire is in the title, and ever since Twilight, if a book has vampire in the title, oh dear God, people will not read it. And I think this series is one of the better vampire series. I mean, the first book I was not a huge fan of, but I feel like the series does get better as it goes on. There's some books in the series I like more than others, but it is about kind of the Russian mythology side of vampirism, and there are people who are like half vampires and evil vampires and vampire protectors, and it is a great series if you're looking for something paranormal but isn't overly romancy. And the best thing about this book is definitely the kick-ass main character, Rose. She's awesome. Next is Divergent by Veronica Roth. This book is being turned into a movie, and it is coming out March 21st of next year. Now, I started the Divergent series before I think it was really hyped. I don't know, I think I just found it out at the library or something, but I read it when it first came out, and now so many people are talking about it. Everyone's freaking out for Allegiant, which comes out October 22nd. So excited for that. And this is a dystopian set in the future, and the society of Chicago is broken up into 5 factions based on what they think went wrong with the world. And this kind of plays into the Hunger Games dystopian craze that's still going around. Everyone's just dystopians are so over. Oh my goodness, why are there so many dystopians? Personally, I love dystopians, and I think this is one of the best. Veronica Roth does such a good job of explaining everything, and what went wrong and why the society is the way it is, and I can even kind of understand why. I feel like with most dystopians, you read it and you're just like, what the heck happened to make this society like this? This is just crazy. And with Divergent, I feel like you can actually understand why the society is the way it is. Next, we have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, and this is part of the Mortal Instruments series. I feel like everyone has read this series by now. About people called shadow hunters who are half angel, and they go around hunting demons known as downworlders. Now, this series, people I feel like have a love-hate relationship with. There's some people that absolutely love it, like myself, and then there's some people that think it's okay, and there are some people that think it's not worth the hype. I really enjoy this series. I feel like, well, first of all, the love interest Jace is just amazing, sarcastic, sexy, you know, that whole deal. And I feel like it just has so many great characters in it. Like, my favorites are, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Clary, but I really like Isabel and Magnus and Jace and Simon, and there's just so many great characters. And the movie's coming out August 21st, so just a few more days till it comes out. I'm so excited for it. And the last book I'm going to be talking about today, I feel like is a book that has been going around the booktube community recently, and it's one of those books that is being talked about so much that every booktuber is like, oh, I gotta read this, I gotta review this, and that is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Now, this is the first book in the series. It came out, I believe, last December. I actually read this book in April, so kind of before all of the huge hype. I mean, when I read it, it was talked about, but now everyone is reading it, and it's really good. It's about these kids in the future, and when a kid turns 10 years old, you either die, or if you don't, you have these special abilities, and you get sent to a concentration camp, and you're kind of broken up by color, and your color kind of distinguishes your ability. Now, the great thing about this book is also the characters, and there's a family dynamic in it that I think is really appealing. The main character, Ruby, finds refuge with a group of people. There's Liam and Chubbs and Zoo, and I feel like that's the best part of the book, because even in this future when everything is so messed up, these kids still band together and they trust each other. And this book, just fair warning, leaves off on a very emotionally damaging cliffhanger. And the second book, Never Fade, comes out October 15th, and I'm so excited for it to come out, because that freaking cliffhanger, we need to know what's happening. So let me know down below if there's some other books that that I missed, or that you guys think are definitely worth the hype that I should read. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.